Next Motzei Shabbos is
this one.
Motzei Shabbos is what?
This Shabbos you. Yeah, we start this time. So here we are again. I don't remember.
Way back. Didn't we start?
I don't remember.
I remember the whole thing about the fast.
It comes up in other places.
Maybe we learned the Mishnayos. Okay, so on the Perek started talking about Rosh Hashanah that comes out on Shabbos, that we don't blow the shofar. The Gemara came out, the reason is because Xer de Rabba, someone might carry it by mistake. So they said don't take shofar on Shabbos, comes out of Rosh Hashanah. But the Mishnah said that in the Mikdash they did, and after the Mikdash, so in Yavna, and then there's a question about other places besides Yavna, come Mokum Sheish Bo Bezdin, and Rabbi Lezer said Dafka Yavna, which is like the Mokum Sanhedrin of 71. And the others said, the Chachamim said, not only Yavna, other but they dinim also. So the Gemara starts, 4 lines from the bottom. Rabbi Lezer, Lo Hitkir, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Avdam Bavad, Amulo Echad Avdam Bechad Kol Mokum Sheish Bo Bezdin. Not only Yavna, any place where there's a Bezdin. The way the Mishnah read was, first it says, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was Metaken B'chol Mokum Sheish Bezdin, and then Rabbi Lezer said Dafka Yavna, and then again Amulo, not only Yavna, and any place where there's a Bezdin. And the Gemara is bothered by the repetition of the Shita of the Chachamim that seems to be mentioned twice. First it says any Bezdin, Rabbi Lezer said Dafka Yavna, and the Rabban say again any Bezdin. So they're repeating themselves. Amulo Hanatanakama, the Shita of Amulo, those who told Rabbi Lezer are the same Shita as the first time that said any Bezdin. So why does it repeat the same Shita twice? The Gemara says no, they're really arguing.
Rabbi, when you say any Bezdin, it's important to know in this sugya that in the end of the day, we're originally talking about 71, and at Friday we talk about 23.
I'll get there. Meanwhile, I'm just reading the words. The Gemara says, the Gemara answers, a temporary bezdin. That word akroy means temporary, and the opposite will be kavua. And according to Rashi says that according to the first shita, any bezdin, even a akroy bezdin, even a temporary bezdin, but the shita that said amulo, that you said Yavna in any place, so it means any place which is similar to Yavna, which means that it's Kavua. So Yavna means the Bezdin of 71. There's only one Bezdin of 71. So Nedrin HaGadol is 71. During the Beis HaMikdash, they were in Lishkas HaGozis. After the Beis HaMikdash, they traveled to Yavna, to Usha, the other place, Faram, different places. That's called the Nedrin HaGadol. That was 71. Besides that, there's a Bezdin of 23. That could be for Din and Nefashos. And also every city that's a sizable, significant city, they also had a Bezdin of 23. They didn't sit every day because Baruch Hashem is not Din and Nefashos every day. But they got together. That was the Bezdin of 23. There also could be a Bezdin of 3. So in our sugya, there are 3 issues. The sugya only talks about one issue, but there are 2 other issues that the Rishonim talk about. Gemara talks about Akrai and Kavua, and there's a machlokes. The one who says Yavne, Rabbi Lezer, Dafke Yavne. Yavne is a Sanhedrin HaGadol. But according to those who argue on Rabbi Lezer, some say that as long as there's a Bezdin Kavua, and the other one says even if it's not Kavua, even if it's Akrai, any Bezdin is enough that you could that you'd be able to blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos, as long as it's a Bezdin, even though it's only temporary. There are 2 sugyas, 2 issues that the Gemara doesn't talk about beferish, but the Rishonim do, and they get it out of the Gemara. One issue is going to be, does it have to be a Bezdin of 23? Not 3. 3 is not enough. Maybe that goes without saying. You have to have Bezdin of 23. And some say even a Bezdin of 3. There's another issue.
What about a 3?
That's everything's Rishonim over here. And the other issue is going to be, a third factor is going to be batsmuchim. They have to have smicha. The people who are dayanim over here, whatever it's going to be, 3, 23, they have to have smicha. So that's 2 issues that the Rishonim talk about. So Allah Lamaisa, we don't see anybody dinim that they're blowing shofar nowadays. Maybe there are some, but the popular opinion is that there's no Kiyas shofar in Rosh Hashanah nowadays. There's a rif that says that you don't have to have smicha, and the Bezdin of 3 is good enough. You have to have kavua. So according to that shita, it will be possible even nowadays also. If you have a Bezdin kavua, even without smicha, you'd be able to blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah. It comes out on Shabbos. But that's not the popular opinion. So again, there are 3 issues you could talk about. The Gemara seems to talk about one, the Farish, and it says that machlokes 2 shitas in the Mishnah, besides Rabbi Lezer that says you have to be Sanhedrin HaGadol, but one shita holds that any Bezdin, even not Sanhedrin HaGadol, as long as it's kavua, and the other one says even if it's akra, even if it's a temporary Bezdin. We just mentioned there are 2 other factors to talk about. Does it have to be a Bezdin of 23 or even 3? Another factor, does it have to be smuchim or no smuchim? Bottom line, Amru echad yavne v'echad kol mokom sheish bo bezdin. So this is the shita that says that not dafka yavne, any place that there's a bezdin, even not yavne. And we said that that means machlokes if it means kavua, fine. Amr Avuna. Next page over here. Now, just to point out that the upcoming sugya is, I hope not confusing. We try to be, it shouldn't be confusing, but the Sforos over here and what the Gemara derives is quite mechudash, like it's not simple, and there might be a big issue in the Girsos over here at length. That the Girsos here might be a big issue, but we're going to read the Gemara the way it says it, and there might be some questions, but we'll just mention it and pass further. And we'll get to halacha, the main issue of the Gemara. Rafuna said the im bezdin. That's what he said. The im bezdin. That even though it says kol makom sheish bo bezdin, yavne or any bezdin, but it has to be im bezdin. When are you going to blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah of Shabbos? You have to blow im bezdin. What does that mean? My im bezdin. If they bezdin, that has to be in front of the bezdin. You can't go someplace else and blow the shofar. You have to blow the shofar, even though there's a bezdin. You have to be b'fnei bezdin. Lafuk yeshlam if they bezdin the low. That if it's not in front of the bezdin, you can't blow the shofar. Okay, and that's going to be the halacha, by the way. That even though you do paskin that you can, the halacha could be that you could blow not only in Yavne, even by a bezdin, whatever that means, 23, 3, smuchim, whatever you need, but it has to be b'fnei bezdin.
Meaning you have to be present.
You have to be in front of the bezdin. The bezdin is going to be sitting. The bezdin is going to be. It's not only sitting; it has a bezdin, but now they are home for Rosh Hashanah. They come to the bezdin. They sit at the shtreimel. They're not in session because they're not really going to have any dinim. There's no dinim to do, but they're sitting in the bezdin, and then you blow the shofar in front of the bezdin. Masih Rav asked the kasha. They wanted to disprove this halacha that you have to be dafka b'fnei bezdin. It says in the Mishnah, the Mishnah says that there's a difference between Yerushalayim and Yavne. Even though we said that after the Churban, you're allowed that you Isker B'Yochanan Ben Zakkai that you could blow also not only in Yerushalayim but any place, Yavne or other Batei Dinim. But there's a difference between Yerushalayim and Yavne, and it says in the Mishnah that Yerushalayim is going to be any place which has 4 conditions, even not Yerushalayim itself. It could be a nearby city. That's Roa, Shalmas, Krova, Yechol Lava. We'll see soon what all that means. It has to be a nearby city also, not only Yerushalayim proper, but even nearby cities also could blow shofar on Shabbos and Rosh Hashanah. But
a little bit like the din of Yerushalayim, Purim or something.
Okay, but Yavne is limited only to Yavne itself.
So the word the law here, where does it go?
Lafuke shalom if they bezdin the law. It's the end of the previous sentence.
I don't understand how it works.
It says it has to be not going to be in front of bezdin, and that's coming to exclude. If I'm in front of bezdin, you can't blow.
The law means that there was.
You may not. Shalom if they bezdin, you may not blow. Masif Rabba. It says in the Mishnah that Yerushalayim is something over Yavne, that in Yerushalayim you could even blow in the nearby cities. We'll see the conditions later on. But in Yavne, you only can blow in Yavne itself. Or if you say Bezdin, Yavne or Kambak Msheish Bezdin, but it has to be only there. It doesn't expand, it doesn't extend itself to nearby cities. And the Gemara is going to, yesterday we said in the Mishnah, there's a difficulty in the Mishnah, says this is also Va'od. Va'od is another extra bonus that Yerushalayim has over Yavne, but it only says one thing. It only says one bonus. It only says the halacha that they're allowed to blow in the nearby cities, and Yavne not. But it doesn't say what the first thing is. It tells us the Va'od without telling us the first thing. That's the Gemara's kasha now. My Va'od zos. What does it mean, this word Va'od zos? That is just as the Mishnah that says that Yerushalayim you're allowed to blow in the nearby cities and Yavne yat not. So those people it didn't say Va'od zos. It says that for zos. For zos, Yerushalayim say al Yavne that you can blow nearby Yerushalayim also, and in Yavne only in Yavne. But it says Va'od. What's the Va'od? It must be there's something missing. Ella, it must be, we have to insert some kind of a extra thing that Yerushalayim has over Yavne besides what it says in the Mishnah. Ella, the Yerushalayim token Yechidin, over Yavne ain't Yechidin. Maybe you're going to say that the point is, in Yerushalayim, even individuals blow, and in Yavne, individuals don't blow. Only the Bezdin blows. Only the Bezdin themselves blow. Not, nobody else blows. Only the Bezdin blows. If that would be the pshat, that would mean that you don't blow, nobody blows. Only the Bezdin. They have a shliach Bezdin, and they're the one who blows. But the Gemara says that's not true. Over Yavna ain't token Yechidin. Is it true that in Yavna Yechidin don't blow? Only the Bezdin blows. That's not true. And the Gemara doesn't prove it from a brisa, but it proves it from a story. When Avitz Yosef came from Eretz Yisrael, I guess, to Bavel, Omar, he said the following: Ki Masayim Shlicha the Sibur the Kia B'Yavne Lo Shama Inish Kal Une Mikal Yechidoi. When the Shliach Sibur means the Shliach of the Bezdin, when he finished the Kia Yavne, means the Bezdin did make a Shliach to blow, but then when he finished, then the person couldn't hear the sound of his ears because of the sound of the blowers of the Yechidim. That means that everyone started blowing. That they did blow. That after the Shliach Sibur, the official blower of the Bezdin, he blew on Rosh Hashanah Shchol Yes B'Shabbos, then other people came to blow. Everybody blew. People blew. So you see that it's not true that Yechidim don't blow. Only the Bezdin blows.
Yes, but the first has to be the Beis Din. Has to start with the Beis Din, and then maybe the Yechidim.
Okay, but it's still Yechidim blows. So you can't say that Yerushalayim is more, that Yerushalayim everybody blows, and then Yavna only the Bezdin blows. It's not true that in Yavna also everybody blew. Elulav, so he's left looking for something to insert into the Mishnah to be the first Yisera, something that Yerushalayim has over Yavna. What is it? Besides the fact that Yerushalayim you can blow in the nearby cities. Elulav, the Yerushalayim talking Ben Bisman Bezdin, Ben Shalom Bisman Bezdin, if Yavna Bisman Bezdin, Shalom Bisman Bezdin Lo. Now these words it doesn't say in the Mishnah, but the Gemara is inserting it. That the Gemara for some reason thinks this is what we should insert. That in Yerushalayim you're allowed to blow even not when Bezdin is in session, Shalom Bisman Bezdin, even after Bezdin. Rashi says Bezdin sits for 6 hours. Later on it's mashma maybe that they sit until Mincha. Whatever the case would be, they only can blow in Yerushalayim. You can blow in Yerushalayim even after Bezdin's time is over. They in session until 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it is. And then now you want to blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah of Shabbos after that. You want to go 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So you're allowed to. But in Yavna, only Bisman Bezdin. Only at the time that Bezdin is in session. At that time, Bisman Bezdin. But if that's true, what does the more want from all this? If it's true that that's the Psham of the Mishnah, so it says the only criteria, the only factor you have to have, condition for Yavna to blow is that it should be Bisman Bezdin. Bezdin is still in session, wherever they are. But it doesn't say it has to be in front of Bezdin. That's what the Gemara wants. This is a big kasha. Bisman Bezdin Mia token Afilu Shlo B'fnei Bezdin. If that's what it says in the Mishnah, it didn't say it, but we inserted it. If that's what we insert, so then it says that Bisman Bezdin, you're allowed to blow in Yavna. With Shlo Bisman Bezdin, you can blow in Yerushalayim, but not in Yavna. If it's Bisman Bezdin, when the Bezdin is still in session, so then you're allowed to blow. And it doesn't say it has to be in front of Bezdin. Afilu Shlo B'fnei Bezdin. That was the kasha on Rav Huna. Rav Huna on top line said that you have to have B'fnei Bezdin. That in Yavna or the other Bezdin, you're allowed to blow only B'fnei Bezdin. And the kasha is, according to the way we just inserted from the Mishnah, it says the only condition is it has to be Bisman Bezdin, but it doesn't have to be B'fnei Bezdin. That's the kasha on Rav Huna. The Gemara answers, don't insert it like that. Make a different insertion. No, don't say that's the pshat. The Ilu Yerushalayim talking about B'fnei Bezdin, Shlo B'fnei Bezdin, Yavna B'fnei Bezdin, Shlo B'fnei Bezdin Lo. The way that you should insert into the Mishnah, the first Yisera, the first what's the word? Is something extra. The first extra thing that Yerushalayim has over Yavna is that Yerushalayim you can blow even not in front of the Bezdin, and in Yavna only in front of the Bezdin. Could be Yerushalayim also has to have Bisman Bezdin. We don't talk about it anymore. We don't mention it. Take out the words of Bisman Bezdin. So what does it come out? Rav Huna on the top line said that you have to blow Dafka B'fnei Bezdin. And the Gemara thought it had a kasha, but no kasha. That remains. That you only can blow in Yavna or the other Bezdin, but they didn't only in front of the Bezdin. Yerushalayim even not in front of the Bezdin. And as the Mishnah says, even one not only in front of the Bezdin, it can even be in the next city also. As long as it has some conditions coming up and that's able to see and hear, but even the nearby cities. But in Yavna, only in Yavna, and not only that, only by the Bezdin. That's the B'fnei Bezdin. So that finishes the first sugya. And maybe we'll touch on it again in the rest of the sugya. But that's what Rav Huna said, and that's how the halacha seems to be. Yes.
Are we saying that it's the session that means today, or it doesn't?
No, it has to be one. That has to be in front of the Bezdin. It's not enough to be. It's not enough to be in the time that we know Bezdin is still in session, but you're far away. It has to be B'fnei Bezdin. It has to be in front of the Bezdin. That's the first Gemara. That's what Rosh Hashanah came on Shabbos, that you're allowed to blow in Yavna and other Batei Dinim, but only in front of the Bezdin Mamish. The Gemara now starts a new sugya. Ika, first white line. Ika the Masi Laha, the Rav Huna Aha. Some have the version that they had Rav Huna's Din, which was the top line in our Gemara, on the following halacha. Means the first sugya we learned was about Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos. And that's what we spoke about. The Rav Huna said it has to be in front of the Bezdin. You could blow Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos in front of the Bezdin. And now there's a different Rav Huna, or a different version of what Rav Huna meant to say. He's not talking about Rosh Hashanah and Shabbos at all. He's talking about Yovel, which comes always Yom Kippur. If it's supposed to blow on the 50th year, you blow shofar also on Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is always like a Shabbos kind of thing. And Yom Kippur is Yom Kippur. So here he says, it says in the Brisa, it says in the Pasuk, that the Brisa says, Yom Kippur teviru shofar b'chol ha'atzechem, malamed shekol yachad v'yachad chayav l'tkoah. Don't think that on Yovel only the Bezdin blows. Everyone's supposed to blow. Blow could mean also to hear, to be also by hearing, like we do on Rosh Hashanah. but don't think that it's only din in Bezdin, it's a din of everybody. Since it says, blow the shofar in your whole land, and whole Eretz Yisrael, that shows that every Yachid is chayv on the Tkiyah shofar of Yovel. On this, on Rav Huna, the in Bezdin, Rav Huna said on this price, not about Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos, he's talking about Yovel, that you only can blow in Bezdin.
Why?
What, I don't know. And what does in Bezdin mean? Before on top line we said in Bezdin means in front of Bezdin. Here it says a little different. My in Bezdin, Bisman Bezdin. He means to say that it has to be at the time the Bezdin is in session. You don't have to be in front of the Bezdin, but you have to be in the time that Bezdin is still in session. You can be far away, but it has to be Bisman Bezdin. Lafuke Shlo Bisman Bezdin below. If it's not after the session, Bezdin is not in session anymore, so then you can't blow on Yovel far away from Bezdin. That was the second version of what Rav Huna said. On this, if Rav was going to ask a kasha, Moshe Rav, a different kasha. The whole very, very different than the first version. He brings a brisa. Now here it says Tkiyas Rosh Hashanah v'Yovel, but they take out, the Gemara makes it easier to take out these words Rosh Hashanah. Tkiyas Yovel. Tkiyas Yovel dochas Shabbos b'Gvul and Ishu Beisel. That's the brisa. That Tkiyah of Yovel overrides Shabbos, which is the same as Yom Kippur. Every Yovel is Yom Kippur. When do you blow shofar on Yovel on Yom Kippur? So it's always like Shabbos. No difference if it's Shabbos or not. But it overrides it, even if it's Shabbos Yom Kippur, Big Vulin, even out of the Mikdash, Ishu Beisel. So these two words are interesting words. Ishu Beisel. You know Ishu Beisel from Hanukkah, and Ishu Beisel. But here it says that Yovel, that you blow shofar, Ishu Beisel. What does that mean, Ishu Beisel? My Ishu Beisel. What do these words mean? That in Yovel you blow the shofar, Ishu Beisel. What does that mean? Now, sometimes the word Beisel means a wife. Is that what it means? If it means that the men and women all blow shofar, it's a woman chayiv in the Tkiyah of Yovel. But it's a positive, time-bound, time-related mitzvah. The women are not chayiv in the Tkiyah shofar, not of Rosh Hashanah, not of Yovel. It's all a positive commandment which is time-related. So they're not chayiv. So that's not what it means. When it says ishu beiso, it doesn't mean ish beishto. Elalav ish biveso. It means a man in his house. That sounds like he doesn't have to go any place. He stays home and he blows the shofar. On Yovel of Yom Kippur, he stays home and blows the shofar.
Why haven't you Beit Midrashim? They don't daven together on Yom Kippur?
If he wants to, he could. But as far as the lach of Tkiyah shofar, he blows even if he's home.
Seems to be that the Chatzilah should be with the Beit Midrash.
That's something else. You want that one opinion. That's not the subject. Subject is about blowing shofar. Is he allowed to blow shofar when he's by himself? So it says that he blows shofar even in his house. Now, the Gemara thinks if that's true, if that's what it says, then it doesn't say any condition about Zman Bezdin. It just says everybody blows, blow, everybody blows. If that's true, it's against what Rav Huna said. If Rav Huna said Dafka B'Zman Bezdin, but Filu Shalom B'Zman Bezdin, can you derive from this brisa that against Rav Huna? Because Rav Huna said that you only blow the shofar on Yom Kippur at the time of Bezdin. He didn't say you need B'Fnei Bezdin, but he said you have to have B'Zman Bezdin. Here it doesn't say that. Here it just says everybody blows. So the Gemara doesn't see any difficulty. It doesn't say anything. No, the Olam B'Zman Bezdin. It doesn't say you can blow whenever you want. It says do it at home. But when? Maybe Dafka at the time Bezdin is still in session. So we thought we had a kasha on Rav Huna and no kasha. He said you have to blow on Yovel Dafka when Bezdin is in session and no kasha on him yet. Most of Rav Sheshes thinks he has a kasha on Rav Huna. It says in a brisa, Shofar Yovel of Rosh Hashanah of Kiyul Brachos. We've had that in the Mishnah already. That Yovel of Yom Kippur of Yovel is the same as Rosh Hashanah as far as blowing shofar goes. Also as far as Brachos, the Tefillah, that is Malchus Zechonis and Shofar. It's not a subject right now. Ella, the brisa continues. Shofar Yovel talking Ben Bebezin Shekit Shabbos HaChodesh or Ben Bebezin Shlom Kit Shabbos HaChodesh. V'chol Yachad V'Yachad Chayv L'Tkoa. But Rosh Hashanah is different in these 2 points. Rosh Hashanah Lo talking El Bebezin Shekit Shabbos HaChodesh and Ein Kol Yachad V'Yachad Chayv L'Tkoa. The brisa says there are 2 differences between Yom Kippur, the Yovel of Yom Kippur, and Rosh Hashanah. By Yovel, you don't have to have a choshev bezdin to blow. By Yovel, it can be even a bezdin she'ein mekashin b'os hachodesh. Rashi over here says, Rashi says that bezdin she'mekashin b'os hachodesh means an hedun agodo. We had this a couple of many pages ago. We spoke about it. When you have to have a bezdin to say mekudesh. You have a bezdin that consecrates the month. Which bezdin do you have to have? So it's not any 3 people going to get together and say that it's Kiddush HaChodesh. You have to have a central authorization of what's Bezdin. That means Bezdin HaGodol. Rashi here speaks it out that you have to have Sanhedrin HaGodol. The only one Bezdin that's authorized to make Kiddush HaChodesh. Of course, you don't have to have those 71. It says that 3 are enough. You have to have 3 people. But 3 out of the Sanhedrin HaGodol, you have to have a member, Chavrei Knesset. You have to be Chavrei Sanhedrin HaGodol. So by Yovel, you don't have that. By Yovel, you don't have to have such a kind of a bezdin in order to blow. By Yovel, you're allowed to blow even in a bezdin that's not a chashav a bezdin, even if it's not a bezdin shekit shabbos hachodesh. But Rosh Hashanah is dafka when you're blowing a Rosh Hashanah of came out on Shabbos only in Sanhedrin HaGadol. Now we just learned that that's not so simple. It's only a Belezer. Actually says there's one contra Belezer of our Mishnah only in Yavne. Yavne is not a way of saying Sanhedrin HaGadol. So that's not relative to us. We have the Machlokas already. We hold you don't have to have Dafka Sanhedrin HaGadol by Rosh Hashanah either. This Bryce holds you have to have Sanhedrin HaGadol in order to blow Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos like a Belezer of our Mishnah. Not our point right now. The point is going to be the second point that it says on Yovel each individual blows, and Rosh Hashanah ain't kol yachad yachad chayv l'tkoa. That's what the Brisa says. Difference between Yovel and Rosh Hashanah. On Yovel in Kippur, every yachad blows. On Rosh Hashanah, every yachad doesn't blow. On Rosh Hashanah of Shabbos, of course, there's a mitzvah tkiyah shofar of every yachad on Rosh Hashanah. But here it's talking about Rosh Hashanah came out on Shabbos, and here it says every yachad doesn't blow. Again, the Gemara says the same thing as says at the top of the page, even though now we're in the Sugi of Yovel, but through the Shakal V'Tari, we do come back to the Sugi of Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos. And here it seems to say that in Rosh Hashanah comes out on Shabbos, not every Yachid blows. Is that true? My Ein Kol Yachid V'Yachid Chayav L'Tkoa. What do those words mean? If you take it literally, Elam the Yol Token Yechidin, Rosh Hashanah Ein Token Yechidin, that on Yovel individuals blow, but Rosh Hashanah on the Shabbos individuals don't blow. That's not true. We had a story on top. But Yasser Yitzchak Bar Yosef, he came. Amar Ki Hava Masayim Shlicha V'Tzibur Tikiyasa B'Yavne, Oshamak Inish Kol Une Mikol Tekoaya V'Yechidoi. Vamish was at the price. We had this on the top of the page that when the Shliach Tzibur Yavne, the Shliach of Bezdin, he blew, then the person couldn't hear his ears because of the sound of the blowers of the individuals. So you see that it's not a din in the Bezdin only, but Shoshana, it comes out on Shabbos, your other individuals also blow. So what does it mean? What does the words mean that Yovel, you call Yachad V'Yachad Chayav L'Tkoa, and then Rosh Hashanah, you call B'Shabbos, Ein Kol Yachad V'Yachad Chayav L'Tkoa. It doesn't mean literally that the Yechidim don't blow, the Yechidim do blow. Elalav, it must mean, the Ilu B'Yovel, talking Bein B'Zman Bezdin, Bein Shelo B'Zman Bezdin, of Rosh Hashanah, B'Zman Bezdin in, Shelo B'Zman Bezdin lo. The difference is going to be, he needs Zman Bezdin. That on Yovel, you can even blow out of the Zman Bezdin, even after Bezdin is in session, and on Rosh Hashanah, you're only allowed to blow when Bezdin is in session. Again, let's get focused again on what we're talking about. Rav Huna said, this was the beginning of the first line, the wide lines. Rav Huna said, according to that version, that even on Yovel, you don't have to have B'fnei Bezdin, but you do need Zman Bezdin. You're only allowed to blow on Yovel only when Bezdin is still in session. And here, the Gemara thinks, again, doesn't explain why the Gemara thinks so. The Gemara is going to change right away, that it doesn't say that. But the Gemara thinks for some reason that will insert into this brisa when it says that Yovel is more than Rosh Hashanah of Shabbos, is that Yovel, you blow even Shelo B'Zman Bezdin. And that's against Rav Huna, who said that Yovel, you only blow B'Zman Bezdin. That's the Gemara's kasha. Also, Agav, it happens to be a kasha, another point that on top of the page, that here it's going to say that you on Rosh Hashanah, you blow B'Zman Bezdin, even if it's not in front of the Bezdin. On top of the Gemara came out, you have to have B'fnei Bezdin. But again, the Gemara here easily is matcha what we this proof, because it doesn't say that. Look, I'm sorry, still middle of kasha. In any case, what is saying the brisa? Yovel bein B'Zman Bezdin, mention lo B'Zman Bezdin, and it says here you're allowed to blow on Yovel even after Bezdin is finished their session. And Rav Huna said only within when the Bezdin is still in session. So the Gemara changes it. It doesn't say that. No, you don't have to read it like that. Lolam B'Zman Bezdin. You have to have that, after like Rav Huna said, when Bezdin is still in session. V'achi Ketani, Yovel B'Zman Bezdin token bein B'fnei Bezdin mention lo B'fnei Bezdin. By Yovel, you're allowed to blow even if it's not in front of the Bezdin, but you do have to have B'Zman Bezdin. But Rosh Hashanah talking B'Zman Bezdin or B'fnei Bezdin. It has to be dafka when in front of the Bezdin mamish. That's the end of the sugya. There's a lot of kasha on the sugya. Why did the Gemara think so? And then the Gemara says no, it doesn't mean that. There's no real give and take over here. But just to point out that the two Gemara seem to be how we paskin. So the first Gemara was talking about, top of the page was in the narrow lines. The Gemara was talking about Rosh Hashanah that came out on Shabbos, and over there the Gemara says you have to have B'fnei Bezdin. Dafka in front of the Bezdin, now you're allowed to blow. Not only the Bezdin blows, not only the Shliach Tzibur, even after the Bezdin blew. So Yechidim do blow, but they have to come in front of the Bezdin. That's what happened over there on all the places where there was a Bezdin. So then the people would come to the Bezdin in order to blow on Rosh Hashanah of Shabbos. And the next Gemara, the wide lines, spoke about Yovel, and over there the Gemara says you don't have to have B'fnei Bezdin, but you do have to have B'Zman Bezdin. It has to be that the Bezdin is still in session. You don't have to be there. It could be you could be in your house, but it has to be that the Bezdin is still in session, whatever time that was, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it was. Everyone knew when the Bezdin was in session, and even though you weren't in front of them, you could blow on Yovel, as long as the Bezdin is still, wherever they are, they're still in session. And that's going to be the halacha. The Shakal V'Tari is a bit difficult in the sugya, why the more thoughts of what it did, but that's how it comes out, then that seems to be the halacha.
If the reason to Kana not to blow shofar in Rosh Hashanah on Shabbos was because somebody might carry that Amos. So how does this eliminate it? If people, any place in Yerushalayim, even next to Yerushalayim, it doesn't eliminate the problem.
So it seems maybe that that the Bezdin, the whole issue of why is Bezdin different? That's what the question is. Why should Bezdin be different? So it seems that Bezdin is more careful. And how comes out of Chiddush that not only Bezdin, the people also, if they come to Bezdin also, they're going to be careful. They're going to know that they're going to Bezdin. They're not going to end up carrying a shofar over there. Also could be they know that the Bezdin has a shofar. They don't have to learn themselves. And they have the Amos Bezdin. Maybe they're scared and they know the Bezdin is in session, even if they're not. By Yovel also might be the question also maybe about carrying. It doesn't say Beferish if that's the issue. The Gemara doesn't say. I didn't see that Rashi says either. But it seems to be the question, as you say, that since the issue is going to be about carrying Zera the Rabbah, you must say that the Bezdin somehow takes care of that problem. Either, even though they're not doing it themselves, it is only Shliach Bezdin. It's going to be Zman Bezdin or B'fnei Bezdin. That's enough also to take care of the Chash. But definitely, it's a chiddush. I wouldn't have said it myself. Yes.
Yes, as usual, Dr. Fine asked the right question. There are two main Manda Amrim on this. One is the issue that, like you said, everybody answers like you said, that Beis Din is a haftacha, that there won't be a problem. But there are a couple of problems on the sugya. One is the Gra asks, why is it that we're allowed to do Kriyas HaTorah and Lefi Zilberman we're allowed to do all the Nevi'im with real cloth on Shabbos? And he has a principle, the Gra, that this issue of worrying about having to be geyser only applies by Hakol Chayavim. And if you notice in our sugya, the Lashon is used 3 times, Hakol Chayavim. On any mitzvah that everybody has an individual chiyuv on, we're worried about. But on an issue like Kriyas HaTorah Barabim B'tzibor, or the Nevi'im with the cloth B'tzibor, because it's a tzibor, the Gra says, we don't have to worry about it. Now, similarly, there's another.
I'm sorry, we have to stop. It's a side issue, and we don't have enough time to do the side issues. It's beautiful.
Well, the Taz is directly relevant because you're asking about Yovel, and Yovel is, we do blow on Yovel, and we also make a bris milah on Shmini on Shabbos, and the Taz has a klal that answers that.
I'm sorry, it's not enough time, and the people. The tzibur is asking to go further. I'm happy to hear afterwards if we have time, but there's no time now.
Here, but we'll see. Call 2.
Itmar Nami. Amar B'chir Bagam Lo Amar Yossi Ben Shol Amar Rebbe Ein Token Ela Kol Zman Shebezin Yoshvin. Also, we learned that the Rebbe says that you're only allowed to blow as long as Bezdin is Yoshvin. So Rashi and Tosfos here talk about, does it mean that Bezdin is in session, or is Dagish on the word Zman and somewhat Yovel as long as Bezdin is in session, or does it have to do with Bezdin Yoshvin, which would mean that it's talking about Rosh Hashanah of Shabbos, and it means you're in front of Bezdin. But here we came out, that's the halach of these 2 Gemaras. The first Gemara says in Rosh Hashanah of Shabbos, it has to be B'fnei Bezdin, and by Yovel, doesn't have to be B'fnei Bezdin, but it has to be at least when the Bezdin is still in session. The Gemara continues, one last question over here. If the Bezdin, they really finished the session and they're ready to get up. Niniru Lamod means, like you say, after every class, whatever, people, they close the Gemara, they start moving their chair up, and they're ready to get up, but they didn't get up yet. They're still sitting. They're actually literally still sitting, but they're ready to get up. Is that considered that they're still in session or not? Mahu. Bezdin Yoshim bin an Va'ika, or Dilma Visman Bezdin bin an Va'leka. Is it the fact that Bezdin are sitting? They're still sitting, but you have to have Bezdin is in session, and it's not called Bezdin anymore. And that the Gemara leaves as a question: what is it necessary to be Bezdin Yoshim? Does it have to be that they're in session mamish? Both the question about if you're far away on Yovel and you need Zman Bezdin, or you're in front of Bezdin and it's only mutter to blow if Bezdin is still B'fnei Bezdin. Is this called B'fnei Bezdin?
Very interesting.
If they already finished, but they didn't actually stand up yet.
Why didn't the Gemara say that they made the time ended? Why did Nirnu Lamai?
That doesn't go to the clock. It goes when they're still, as long as they're still in session. But if they stood up, then it's over. If they're still sitting, but they already moved, the chairs are ready to get up, maybe that's called that the session is over already. Those are the ones, a similar question about Navelus, Sochas Avelus also, but Shiva, when is the Shiva over? Also, the Gemara has the same question over there, Moed Katan. But also, so Yerushalayim is Seir al Yavne. So the Mishnah says that this we mentioned the Agav as we were talking, that Yerushalayim is more than Yavne, that not only Yerushalayim itself, but even neighboring city. What does the Mishnah say? It says, Roa, Shomas, Krova, Yechol Lavo. And that means, the Gemara is going to say that it means all 4 conditions. You have to have all 4 conditions in order to be able to blow near Yerushalayim. What is that? Roa, Pratli Yeshevas Benachal. That's able to see Yerushalayim. If a nearby city is going to be down in a valley, and even though it's close by, but it doesn't see Yerushalayim, that's not enough to be able to blow on Shabbos. Shomahas, that's to also be able in the earshot. What does that mean? Pratli Yeshevas Blow Shahor. If it's on a mountain and it can see Yerushalayim and it's near Yerushalayim, but it's high up in a way that it's out of earshot. Also, it can't blow on Shabbos, only if it's also within earshot. The third condition, Kroba, that means that it has to be close. Literally, it has to be close. How close? It has to be within the Tchum Shabbos, within 2,000 Amos. And the last condition, the Yechol Lov, it has to be technically, practically able to come. What does that mean? If there's a river in between, if there be a city which is close by, within the Tchum, but there's a river in between, I don't know if there is such a thing, but then it wouldn't be mutter to blow on Shabbos. You have to have 4 conditions in order to be able to be nitpal to Yerushalayim, that it's within vision, within earshot, within Tchum Shabbos, and also practically able to come also.
Is it the Tchum Shabbos the Raita or the Rabbanan?
Rabbanan.
Okay.
All these things seem to be Rabbanan. The whole thing is the whole issue here of making what's considered close to Yerushalayim. The issue is going to be what's called Tafel to Yerushalayim. The whole thing is Rabbanan. I mean, the rice you let it blow on Rosh Hashanah and Shabbos. They made it Rabbanan not to blow because you might carry by mistake. Someone might carry, and they made that when it's next to Yerushalayim or next to in Yerushalayim, the Bezdin of Yerushalayim or by Yavne. By Yavne they said in Yavne only, not with Ney Bezdin as we said. But they extended the heter that they didn't make Xer over there that might come to carry. So everything's only going on at Rabbanan. When did they make the Isser to blow with Rabbanan? You shouldn't blow on Rosh Hashanah. When they didn't make the Isser, so everything is just turning around and revolving around the Rabbanan. The Mishnah continues. This we had in Masechah Sukkot, the whole sugya, the whole Mishnah with all the Gemara is already as a Chazara. It's always good to Chazar. Originally, the lulav is mutter to take in the base of Mikdash. It's supposed to be taken in the base of Mikdash all 7 days, like it says, Hashem Shavas Shamim. But the Medina, out of the base of Mikdash, it's only 1 day the mitzvah, like it says, so that's the original halacha. But the Raisa, you take the lulav 1 day, but in the Mikdash all 7 days. But Meshachar base of Mikdash, it's Rebbe Yochanan Mezakeh, Sheyehei lulav little bit Medina Shiva Seichel Mikdash. After the Churban, Rebbe Yochanan Mezakeh made a takana to take the lulav all 7 days, like we do. Even out of the base of Mikdash, Zechel Mikdash. And the Gemara is going to say in a second, it's supposed to make a Zechel Mikdash to want the base of Mikdash to return. One of the ways of doing that is over here to take the lulav all 7 days. Another takana of Yochanan Mezakeh after the Mikdash, the Shei Yomanef Kulo Aser, that the day of Trufas Omer, which is the 16th of Nisan, that's the day of the Omer, the whole day is Aser Lit Chadash until the end of the day. But the rice he'd be allowed to eat it from the Korban Omer. Once he brought the Korban Omer, in the middle of the day, he'd be allowed to eat the Chadash. But after the Churban, he said the whole day should be Asa. You're not allowed to eat it until the following night, till the 17th. Gemara Sakash on the first part of the Mishnah. Why did he make a Zechel Mikdash? Could be. The Gemara finds a pasuk. That's all the pasuk. Because I'm going to make for you a rucha, that's a healing, and I'm going to heal you from your wounds, says Hashem, because they have called you the castaway. Zion, that has nobody seeking it. Zion, nobody's seeking Zion. That's a problem. Hashem says that Zion is a problem, that no one's seeking Zion. So you see you're supposed to. So we could divide from that. You're supposed to be Dorish Zion. So how do you Dorish Zion? So one of the ways is what the Rebbe Mezakeh says, that you should make a Zechel Mikdash to take this lulav all 7 days. So just to point out, when you take the lulav on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the days of Sukkot, you should think, I'm being Dorish Zion, not just taking lulav. No mitzvah lulav. It's only look after Rishon. Why are you taking lulav for? In order to remember Zion and ask Hashem that it should come back again. The rest of the Gemara goes about the Omer. They share Yom Anef Kula said that the whole day of Trufas Omer should be Yosef to eat the Chadash. My time, why? It's mutter. The Gemara is going now that when there's no Korban Omer, so then you might eat Chadash in the morning of the 16th. So why should it be Yosef until the whole day? Why should be done? One pasuk says Ad Etzem Hayom Hazeh. One pasuk says Ad Aviyachem till you bring the Omer, and it means when there's the Omer, till you bring the Omer. If there's no Omer, then Ad Etzem Hayom Hazeh. The Gemara thinks it means that you're allowed to eat Chodesh in the morning of the 16th. So why did they make it a takana to eat the whole day of the 16th? My time. The Gemara answers, here you better base of Mikdash. We hope that the base of Mikdash is going to be built soon, and people will get up on the morning of the 16th and think that you're allowed to eat Chodesh. If for all the years, the thousands of years of Golas, they ate Chodesh on the 16th in the morning, so the base of Mikdash is going to be built. The first year, they're also going to think you're allowed to eat Chodesh in the morning of the 16th. Beyond which, they're going to say last year, but didn't we eat? That's what we always been doing. We've been eating the Chodesh on the morning of the 16th. Also, we're going to continue eating like that also now. But they're not going to realize there's a difference. They don't realize but they don't realize that last year, when the Beis Mikdash was not yet built, that's when it was mutter to eat in the morning as soon as the sun rises. But now that there's a Beis Mikdash, you're not allowed to eat until the Omer. So therefore, they made a takana that even nowadays, when there's no Beis Mikdash, don't eat the Chadash the whole day of the 16th. So when the Beis Mikdash is going to be built, they're not going to make a mistake. But the one the kasha, the mivni eimas. When are you worried? We say the word worried. The word is not we're not worried the Beis Mikdash is going to be built, but we're worried that's going to be built in a time when people are going to make a mistake and eat the Chadash when it's Asr. So what exactly are you worried about? The mivni eimas. When are you scared that Beis Mikdash is going to be built? Even if the Beis Mikdash is going to be built on the 16th of Nisan, there's no problem. They really are allowed to eat Chadash in the morning. If when the sun rose in the morning, there was no Beis Mikdash, it's not going to eat Chadash, and it doesn't become Asr, even if the Beis Mikdash is going to be built in the subsequently in the middle of the day. That's not going to make the Chadash Asr L'Mafreya. Chadash is mutter in the morning, and you're allowed to eat Chadash. That wouldn't be a problem. However, here it was very mutter to eat the Omer, and doesn't become Asr. Ella, the chash is maybe the Ibni B'Chamesa, that maybe the Beis Mikdash is going to be built before the 16th, on the 15th, and then when the people get up in the morning of the 16th, you're talking not allowed to eat Chadash, and that's why they said don't eat Chadash in the morning, because when the Beis Mikdash is going to be built, you might continue making a mistake and eat Chadash in the morning, and it's not true. You're not allowed to eat anymore. You have to wait till the Omer. But the Gemara says, even so, there's no reason to ask the whole day. Yochanan ben Zakkai didn't have to say that the whole day is also. He could have said, Mechatzos Yom L'Hal Tishtami. It should have been mutter from Chatzos. But the Gemara is going to say now that even when the Beis Mikdash was standing, and you're talking not allowed to eat Chadash until you bring the Korban Omer, you never had to be Choshesh that they didn't bring the Korban Omer till after Chatzos. Means that the surely Bezdin, the Gemara is going to say right away that Bezdin did it his reason, and by midday, even if you were far away, you could know for sure they brought the Omer in the Beis Mikdash by Chatzos. The Tanan, that even if you're far away, that even if you live far away, if you're at a Beis Mikdash, you see if they brought the Omer. But even if you're far away, you don't know if they brought the Omer. You're allowed to eat Chadash from midday on the 16th, because Bezdin surely they were not lazy and they brought the Chadash by midday. So the question was, how come Yochanan ben Zakkai you had to make a takana that Chadash should be also the whole day of the 16th, because Beis Mikdash is going to be built? Even if it'll be built, Bezdin is always careful to bring the Omer by midday, so they didn't have to answer it more than that. The Gemara answers, the problem will be that it was not built before the 16th, but it was very late in the day, close to the night or at night, and therefore, even though technically Bezdin usually brings the Omer by midday of the 16th, but that's only when they had time to prepare everything. If it would have had more notice. But if the Beis Mikdash is built on the 15th, on the first day of Pesach, or at night, Motzei Yontif, and they have to have the Omer ready for the next day, everything's in a big rush.
And the Olam V'ed is changing the halacha that now you have to
not Olam V'ed until the Beis Mikdash is built. No, all these years of the Golos, we have not been eating Chadash the whole day of the 16th, because maybe the Beis Mikdash will be built on the 15th towards the afternoon or at night, and therefore they're not going to have the Omer ready on the 16th by midday. So he asked it the whole day already. That's the first errors. The first errors was that really Chadash nowadays is mutter from the 16th in the morning, but he made a gzera not to eat it because you might make a mistake after Beis Mikdash is built and eat Chadash in the morning, and you're not allowed to. Second teretz, Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, another teretz. Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai b'shitas Amar Beis b'shitas Rav Yehuda Amar. Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai that says that don't eat Chadash nowadays after the Korban until the night is not only Drabanan. Maybe the Beis Mikdash is going to be built if people make a mistake. He holds them in the right. So he holds like Rabbi Yehuda. The Amar Adet Samayom Mazeh Adas Poshel Yom V'Kasav Ad V'Ad B'Chlal. That he holds that in the Raisa you're not allowed to eat the Omer, the Chadash, until after the 16th is over. It means the pasuk said Adet Samayom Mazeh. That's true. But the question is, the word Ad is Ad V'Ad B'Chlal or Ad V'Lo Ad B'Chlal. Till now we assume that the word Ad means until, not including. That means that you don't eat Chadash until the 16th, but not including the 16th, you're allowed to eat it already. Ad V'Lo Ad B'Chlal. But Rabbi Yehuda holds Ad V'Ad B'Chlal. Don't eat Chadash until the 16th, including the 16th. So with the rice, it's Aser. Times at Omer, it's talking about after you brought the Korban Omer, even in the middle of the day. But when there's no Omer, it's Aser the whole day. And that's easy. The reason Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said that don't eat the Omer nowadays is because it's Aser with the rice. The Gemara Kasha, the technical, that the Mishnah is mashma, not over here, but the Mishnah someplace else is mashma, not like that. Mashma Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai does not know that it's also midiraisa. When we saw like Abasei, does Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai hold like Abuda that it's also midiraisa? But Mufla Palagale, he argues on him. The Tanan, it says in the mission, Bishchov Beis Hamikdash Iskei Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai Shei Yom Lev Kula Yasser. Same as our Mishnah that after the Churban, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was metaken that the Yom of the Omer, 16th of Nisan, should be Yasser the whole day to eat Chadash. And Rabbi Yehuda argues, I'm Rabbi Yehuda, Ba'alom and Ataru Yasser. He was wondering, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai made a takana. It's also midiraisa. Tichsiv Adel Tzema Yom Hazeh. Don't eat the chadash and ad bad b'chlal. So it's even midiraisa. So why is Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai saying it's only Rabbanan? So how can our Gemara? The Mishnah says openly l'chora that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai holds that it's only Rabbanan not to eat the chadash. How can our Gemara say that he holds like Rabbi Yehuda that it's also midiraisa? The Gemara answers, "Sasin Rabbi Yehuda hu dekatay." Rabbi Yehuda made a mistake. He didn't understand Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. Iyu savar Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai midrabanan kamar. Rabbi Yehuda thought that Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai is only answering chadash midrabanan, and that's why he said, "Why saying midrabanan? It's even deraisa." But he made a mistake. Rabbi Yehuda was wrong with the raisa kamar. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai meant that with the raisa not allowed to eat chadash because of the same drush as Rabbi Yehuda says, because of ad bad b'chlal. The Gemara is a kasha of hiskin katani. It says that he was metaken. It sounds like an enactment. He made an enactment not to eat chadash the whole day. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's also midrabanan. Why is it hitkin? The answer is Mahitkin, Dorish Vhiskin. That means that he's the one who rectified it. Not that he made an enactment. He told everybody, you should know that nowadays it's also eating Chadash the whole day. So he darshan. Rashi says he darshan the pasuk, or you could say that he darshan Barabim. He publicized the point that nowadays he's not allowed to eat Chadash anymore. That's the point. At the end of the sugya, we hold that nowadays he's not allowed to eat Chadash the whole day of the 16th. It doesn't come even to the market anyway, so it's not so practical, the whole halacha. But you're not allowed to eat Chadash until after the 16th. And in the Chusla, it's still after the 17th because Yom Tov Sheni, but the Chosh is one more day. But in Eretz Yisrael, like the Gemara says, you're not allowed to eat Chadash the 16th until the end of the 16th day. Like the Gemara says, Avad B'chlal, and you can't eat Chadash on the 16th of Nisan, only after the day is over. The Gemara goes back to Kiddush HaChodesh. But this we had the concept of many times, but here's the Mishnah. But originally, they would accept Eidim to testify that they saw the new moon the whole day. This is going to be now by Rosh Hashanah. So what happens every Rosh Hashanah? We're waiting for the Eidim, the 30th day of Elul. We hope that we think maybe today is going to be Rosh Hashanah. How does that happen? If last night Eidim saw the new moon, they're going to come today and testify they saw the new moon. Today's going to be Rosh Hashanah, and tonight is going to be the second day of Tishrei, not Rosh Hashanah, one day Rosh Hashanah. And how long will the Bezdin stay in order to receive Eidim? The whole day. They'd wait the whole day of the 30th. Whenever Eidim came, and if they came and they said we saw the moon last night, today would be Rosh Hashanah. One time they didn't come till very late. When the Skalkal Levim Bashir and the Levim, it was Talmud Beis Hamikdash, they got messed up as far as the Shir Shal Yom. With the Korban Talmud, we're going to see soon that Talmud Shebein Arbaim, they say a Shir. You say a Shir by Talmud Shal Shachar, Talmud Shebein Arbaim, by Musaf, you say a Shir Shal Yom. What we say in the Shir Shal Yom is the Shir of Talmud Shal Shachar. And it goes according to the days of the week, Sunday, Monday, Yom Rishon, Shal Levim Mom Beis Hamikdash, and it says what they used to say in the Beis Hamikdash. On Yom Tif, there's a special Shir Shal Yom for the Musaf, and we're going to see soon also that Rosh Hashanah, they made also a Shir Shal Yom for the Talmud Shebein Arbaim. For the afternoon Talmud, they made a special Shir Shal Yom for Rosh Hashanah, and here the case was that the Eidim didn't come till after Talmud Shebein Arbaim, and they didn't say the right Shir. They didn't say the Shir of Rosh Hashanah because they didn't know it's going to be Rosh Hashanah, and that was a big problem. I wouldn't have.
They didn't have Yom Tov Ma'ariv.
What did they do every year?
Ma'ariv. We daven Rosh Hashanah Ma'ariv.
The night of Rosh Hashanah. What do you do every day? Every year you have that. That at night you never know it's going to be Rosh Hashanah. The night of the 30th, the eve of the 30th, you never know it's going to be today's going to be Rosh Hashanah. You have to find out tomorrow if Eidim are going to come tomorrow. So you never know. The night before, you never know if it's Rosh Hashanah or not. True?
Yeah, I mean, let's just say somebody sees it in the, like just outside the old city.
We don't care if you see it. You have to have Eidim that testify.
Okay, so the Eidim come.
When do they come? When do Eidim come? When do Eidim come? You have to come in the daytime. The Eidim Bezdin does not close at night. You have to have in the daytime. So there's you can't have. So or we'll leave it open. Tais has a lot of questions here that the Gemara doesn't talk about all the other problems. Do you say is there a Korban Musaf? Is there halal? Halal is only a minute. But all the do you say halal v'yovo? How do you daven Ma'ariv, Rosh Hashanah? So all these problems. Yeah, you wear a strimal. You only wear a strimal. What do you do? So okay, so all these questions the Gemara doesn't talk about. The Gemara only has one issue. All the questions the Gemara doesn't talk about. One question. One big problem is the Shir Shal Yom of Talmud Shebein Arbaim. You wouldn't have thought that it's the top of the list, but this is like the most important thing that the Gemara says. This is the problem. Everything else.
So Rebbe,
This talks about somebody. Yes, please.
Does this mean that the Levim thought they didn't have enough time to wait any longer?
They did. Yeah, there's a
Or,
time.
or is there, does it have to be two, what is it? Is it one,
There's a set
I forget,
time.
is it 1.25 hours before Shkia?
It says Tamid Ishchat b'shmona mechza v'kor b'teisha mechza. The regular time they would bring what we call mincha ketana. That's when they brought the korban.
The Mincha Katana, and they didn't want to wait till later because
And
they
they
might
didn't
not
wait later.
finish? Or,
Usually, if Aiden didn't come by then, they usually didn't come. If they didn't come by then,
so they just figured they won't be coming, and so let's just go ahead and do it.
that's what it sounds like. We'll see what the Gemara talks about. What they did do, what they did on the default. They didn't know if it's going to be Rosh Hashanah today or not. But usually, Adim, they saw the moon last night. So why is it taking them so long? They saw the moon last night, and in the beginning of last night, they had the whole night to come, and also they had the whole day. Now it's already 3 o'clock or so, and they still didn't come. But one time it happened that they didn't come until very late, and that caused the Levim to get messed up the Shir Shal Yom of the Talmud Shebein Arbaim, the afternoon Talmud. So they made a takana. Itkinu shelo yu mukabel ela adam mincha. They made a takana that after mincha, mincha means 2.5 hours before sunset. No more Eidim. Basically, close the doors. No, they don't accept Eidim anymore. So if they don't accept Eidim, then for sure tomorrow is going to be Rosh Hashanah, and the mincha that the Talmud Shebein Arbaim they're going to bring as a weekday, because a weekday korban today's not going to be Rosh Hashanah. But just Rashi said there's a danger now. If you're going to close the best, then you're not going to accept any Eidim. What happened? Since last night, everyone's wearing a strimal, right? Everyone's Rosh Hashanah, and they hope today's going to be Rosh Hashanah. Maybe Eidim are going to come. At the end, Eidim didn't come, and they closed the Bezdin. That means that for sure, today's not going to be Rosh Hashanah. What's going to happen? Everyone takes off the strimal and goes into the car, and we start doing malacha. It was Rosh Hashanah, serious, shofar, everything, Malchus, Manas, and Shafaras, and then it comes 3 o'clock, and the Bezdin day closes down. It's not going to be Rosh Hashanah today. So then it comes a weekday. So everyone starts taking out all their phones and cars and whatnot. So then the next year, Rashi says, it's going to be a big problem. When it comes to Rosh Hashanah, people are not going to take it so seriously. Because I remember last year, and all the kids remembering last year, we had Rosh Hashanah with the strimal and the shofar, and then we went in the car. So they're going to go in the car, we'll say problem tomorrow. That's a big problem. So they said, nothing doing. Yom Kodesh, Shalom Kodesh. It's going to be 2 days Rosh Hashanah. If you don't get the first day of Rosh Hashanah, if you Eidim come in the morning, today's Rosh Hashanah, and tomorrow's not Rosh Hashanah. If Eidim don't come till Mincha, today's Rosh Hashanah, regardless, and tomorrow's going to be the real Rosh Hashanah, but today's also Rosh Hashanah.
We hold all the way down the line. The first day is
That's already some different subject.
the second day really might be the first day. It's not Rosh Hashanah. It's just
Nowadays, it's according to the Luach. And nowadays, the first day is also Aleph Tishrei. Nowadays, the first day is could be that the first day is the real Rosh Hashanah. We hold.
Excuse me, does ulamala, mincha ulamala means before 2.5 hours or after?
we do all the
I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Ulamala, I'm not sure. Does that mean getting closer to Shkia or getting further away from Shkia?
Yes. Past Mincha from 2.5 hours and on. If they came after that, which means that if they come, we don't answer the door anyway. But even if they came, today's going to be Rosh Hashanah and tomorrow's going to be Rosh Hashanah. Even if they came, we don't tell them. We say, I'm sorry, tomorrow's Rosh Hashanah. Today's also Rosh Hashanah, because the people shouldn't make the zilzal of starting to do malach in the middle of the day. But tomorrow is anyway going to be Rosh Hashanah, the real Rosh Hashanah, because you didn't come before Mincha. So that was all the takana of Rosh Hashanah, that you don't accept Eidim after Mincha in order that there shouldn't be a kilkul b'shir. If they didn't come till Mincha, they're going to do the Shir Shal Chol. Even though it's going to be Rosh Hashanah today also, Yom Kodesh Shalom Kodesh. But as far as the Shir Shal Yom, it's going to be a weekday. Tomorrow is going to be the real Rosh Hashanah. After the Korban, there's no more Shir Shal Yom anymore. There's no Shir of the Korban anymore. There's no problem. So you can accept Eidim till the night. And if they come today, today's Rosh Hashanah, tomorrow's not Rosh Hashanah. Only during the Beis Mikdash there was this problem of the Shir. So then they didn't accept Eidim after Mincha. And if they didn't come till Mincha, today's going to be Rosh Hashanah and tomorrow's going to be Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara wants to know when they did not know what to do. They were waiting. Eidim didn't come. It's already Mincha to be the Korban Shebein Arbaim. So they messed it up. What did they mess up? Why was the mess up? In Babel, they said the Pshat is they didn't know what to do. So they said no Shira. They had a Korban Shebein Arbaim, but they didn't know if they're going to say the weekday Shir or the Rosh Hashanah Shir. So they said no Shir. That was what they thought. That's what they thought to do, since they didn't know. Reb Zera said that they said the weekday Shir. Two possibilities what the mistake was. Did they say no Shir, or did they say the wrong Shir? That Eidim came in Mincha Lamala. Today was really Rosh Hashanah, but they didn't know that, because when they brought the Korban Tamid, Eidim had not yet come. So they said a weekday Shir, and then it came out a couple of minutes later. The Eidim came and said today's Rosh Hashanah. So two possibilities what the mistake might have been. And now the Gemara goes on to the sugya. What do you do if you don't know? If you don't know the right share, do you say no share or do you say the weekday share?
What would you prompt to say both?
I don't know. I don't know that either. Why not say both? I don't know. What's
Fair
the,
debate.
why is share such a big issue over here? I don't know. It seems like a very intriguing subject. The share of Rosh Hashanah that is so important to say. We're going to soon see.
Virtual thing.
We're soon going to see what is the share. What is the share of Rosh Hashanah of Thomas Ben Rabban that we don't know yet. What is the share of Rosh Hashanah? We'll see soon. As we know, Reb Zera had a son. His name was Ahava. That was his name. We had it a couple of pages ago. So Reb Zera told the son Ahava, "Took Tanilu, go tell them, the people in Babel that are arguing with me, that Kinu Shalo Yim Mekabelis Chodesh El Kadesh Yeshus B'Yom Lahakif Tmidin Musafin in the Skeim V'Lo Mashiva Shalo B'Shibus." That's a brisa. The brisa says that they made a takana because of this problem that sometimes they even came late. They made a takana not to receive the testimony of the month only if there's going to be enough time to bring the korban tamid. Of course, the musaf, which is earlier, and then the sachim, the libations, they go together with it, and to say the shiva without a mistake. That's what the brisa says. That you should be able to say the shiva without a mistake. What is the mashma? That if they didn't come on time, the shiva is going to be said with a mistake. That's what Zera's deal. That it says they should make sure they have time to say shiva without a mistake. That sounds like they said the wrong one. Again, the two choices were: if you don't know, do you say nothing or do you say the weekday one? If Zera wanted to be medayik, the fact that it says they should say it without a mistake, that sounds like if the problem would have been, they would have said it with a mistake. Not that they wouldn't have said it. The deal that they should say it without a mistake. They should say it correctly. To say it correctly is not the deal is that they would have said it incorrectly. And the people in Babel said that they would not have said it at all. If what they did was they said the weekday shira, then it makes sense. The brisa, that's why it's called a mistake. They shouldn't do it wrong because they would have done it wrong. If people in Babel said that they didn't say shira at all, my shibushika, that's not called a mistake. They just didn't say it. They should have said that. They should say shira, not they should say shira correctly. Am I making sense? Moshe, don't look like you agree. That's good. Then my answer is no. That's also called a mistake. If they didn't say it, it's also called a mistake. The Gemara thought that when it says to say it correctly, the diak would be that they would have said it incorrectly. But the Gemara says not to say it at all is also called not to say it correctly. That's called the shibush. If you don't say anything, it's also called the shibush. So no raya yet to Reb Zera. Again, the question we're talking about now: if you don't know the right shiva to say, do you say nothing or do you say the weekday one? Reb Zera said you say the weekday one, and the people in Babel they said that you say nothing. Next kasha, also I wants to prove here this price that besides bringing a kasha teretz, it's also very interesting as far as what is the shira of Rosh Hashanah and everything. The following brisa. It says, Tamash al Rosh Hashanah, Shachris, the Tamash al Shachar of Rosh Hashanah didn't have any special shira. Means the regular Shir Shal Yom, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it comes out. So the Tamash al Shachar Rosh Hashanah, you do it the regular way. They didn't make any special shir to Rosh Hashanah in the morning. Rashi says the reason is because usually they didn't come so soon. Tamash Shachar is right away in the morning. Barkai, they put Tamash Shachar right away in the morning. So usually Eidim didn't come yet. So they made the Shir Shal Yom of Rosh Hashanah regular weekday. But the Musaf, Ma'omer,
They did like Reb Zera.
no, this is Tamash Shachar. Tamash Shachar, there's no takana to make a special shir for Rosh Hashanah. Tamash Ben Abayim, we'll see in a second. There's a special Tamash Ben Abayim, and then they didn't know what to do. It's Rosh Hashanah is a weekday. Over here, Tamash Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah, even if you know it's going to be, even if it's Rosh Hashanah, they didn't make any special shira for Rosh Hashanah morning. The Rosh Hashanah morning is like a regular weekday, even if it's Rosh Hashanah. What's the kasha?
Why didn't they say for Rosh Hashanah?
They didn't make a special shir for the Tamash Shachar of Rosh Hashanah. Is that a kasha?
They didn't sing anything.
They didn't. No, they did the regular Shir Shal Yom of the weekday. It happens to be a Tuesday, so the Tamash Shachar of Tuesday. They said even though it's Rosh Hashanah, nothing's wrong. It's Tuesday also. They made no special Shir Shal Yom. I'm just asking you a question. By the way, when it comes out Yantif, what do you say Shir Shal Yom? What Shir Shal Yom do you say on Yantif? You say whatever the day is.
Right.
So why are you surprised?
No, the Gra has a whole.
I didn't ask. I asked what you do.
Yeah, probably do.
Okay.
That's what I said,
So the Gra also agreed that you're right, that the Shir Shal Tamash Shachar is a regular weekday. For the Musaf, he says that's a Musaf. The Musaf has a special one, but the Tamash Shachar has the regular Shir Shal Yom. And Rosh Hashanah, they didn't do anything different. Rosh Hashanah, Tamash Shachar, they made the regular Shir Shal Yom of the weekday. The Musaf, there's a special one. The Musaf Ma'omer, Hanina Lo Mozain, Yaakov, which is Payala. Till 81, that's the one that they say in Rosh Hashanah because it has to do Hanina Lo Mozainu. Chaviu lo Yaakov. Soon tiku b'chol the shofar because of them chagenu. That has to do with Rosh Hashanah. The mincha. This is now the subject. The mincha ma'or. What do you say on Tamash Ben Arbayim of Rosh Hashanah? That's a special one already. Kol Hashem Yechol Midbar. This is Mizbar 29. Kol Hashem Yechol Midbar. Rashi says it has to do with Har Sinai and the Kol Shofar of Har Sinai. That's how they made a special takana to make a shir shalom special for Rosh Hashanah Tamash Ben Arbayim. Now it says right there. That's the agav. This was the shir that they messed up. They didn't say it. They didn't know should they say it or not. That's what Amish talks about. Now we know which one it is. It's 29. What happens if Rosh Hashanah fell out on a Thursday? On a Thursday, what's the Shir Shal Yom? Also 81.
Right.
And it comes out that the Muslim is also going to be 81. So we don't want to say the same thing twice. So if it comes out Rosh Hashanah on a Thursday, in the morning, don't say the whole 81, say only half of it. You're going to be doubling it again by Musaf. Start later on. Don't say the beginning. The beginning you'll say by Musaf. But by Shachris, just say the second half. I don't know. This is some of the shir of the Levium is different than saying Ashrei.
This is actually halacha l'maisa. We do it. This is how it works out.
That's what it says.
We don't do that. We're nobody.
Ve'im bo edim achatam shachar.
We just.
Omer haninu. If
Yeah.
the Edim came, now this case was that you knew today's going to be Rosh Hashanah. When you brought the Tamash Shachar, you knew today's going to be Edim, but they're ready. You know that today's going to be Rosh Hashanah. So then don't do the regular Thursday morning because you're going to say it anyway by Musa. But what if you don't know if today's going to be Rosh Hashanah? Edim didn't come yet. You don't know if today's going to be Thursday. Might be it's 30th of Elul. Might be Rosh Hashanah. Might be not. You know the Edim are going to come. So then. If you're not sure it's going to be Rosh Hashanah, then say the regular Thursday morning, the whole parak 81, even though it might come that you're going to double it again. Ad kind of brisa. What did it say? That Thursday morning, if you know it's going to be Rosh Hashanah, don't say the whole 81 because you're going to be saying it double because most of you're going to say it. If you're not sure, say the whole 81, even though you might end up to double it again. Now the Gemara is going to be right to the subject before that if you don't know if today's Rosh Hashanah, are you going to say the Tamash Ben Arbayim, the case where they didn't come till very late. It's already Tamash Ben Arbayim. It's already 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and you didn't yet. Adam didn't come, and you have Tamash Ben Arbayim. Here's a special one. It's 29. You're supposed to say Mizpah 29. Are you going to say 29, or are you going to say Tamash or nothing, or are you going to say the Mizpah Shalchol? Here's a case also that you don't know what to do. You're in the morning of the Thursday morning, you don't know if it's going to be Rosh Hashanah today, and it says that you say 81. You say as if it's not going to be Rosh Hashanah. You say maybe today's going to be a weekday. So you say 81, and then it comes out that you say again, but mostly if you say it again. If you say, like you people in Bavel, then if you don't know, don't say anything. So it should be that Thursday morning, if you don't know today's Rosh Hashanah or not, don't say anything. If Zera wants to be right himself, the one wants to be right to Zera, that if you don't know, you say the Shir Shalchol. But the Gemara answers one more line on top of the page. Shani Yasam, the Shiva, the Yomeyu. That's not the same case at all. It's not bad. If you say 81, if you say Harninu in the morning, Lo Nora, because it has to do with Rosh Hashanah. It's really Thursday, it's really Rosh Hashanah, everything's fine. So what's the problem? You're going to say it twice. That's not terrible. We try not to say it twice. But if you're going to say it twice, it's not going to be terrible. But over here, the question is going to be that you're going to say a Shir Shal Chol for the Tamash Shal Shachar. Then the Bnei Bavel said, better not to say any Shir at all. To be continued, just to sum it up, the Gemara spoke about just the halachas that come out that even though you say, first of all, there's a machlokes talking about Bezdin Akrai, you below shofar in Rosh Hashanah or Shabbos when it's a Bezdin that's not Kavua, machlokes. The next page spoke about that you only blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah of Shabbos when it's B'fnei Bezdin. The next Gemara said that by Yovel, you don't have to have B'fnei Bezdin, but you have to have Man Bezdin. Bezdin has to be in session, you're far away, but you do blow as long as Bezdin is still in session wherever they are. The more the question if they started getting up but they didn't get up yet, is that all still in session or not? That's the Teku. And the Gemara back to the Mishnah that says in Yerushalayim was Yisrael Yavna that even the nearby city, as long as it has 4 conditions, that it's within vision and within earshot and within the Tchum Shabbos, and there's no river dividing, there are other cities also. You don't have to have B'fnei Bezdin. In Yavna you have to have B'fnei Bezdin as we came out. But Yerushalayim doesn't have to have B'fnei Bezdin. It doesn't even have to be in Yerushalayim. It can even be in the nearby cities as long as it has these 4 conditions. After that, we had the point about Zeichel Mikdash. You take Lulav to Medina all 7 days, and the Omer is Chadash is also to eat the whole 16th to 16th when there's no base of Mikdash. And we said to Pshat and Nidam Rabbanon because people might make a mistake and continue eating Chadash when the base of Mikdash is built the 16th in the morning, or the Chadash that with the rice that's also because the next Gemara said about that's going to be the Raisa. And the more number base, about the Mishnah that originally they used to accept Eidim the whole day, and if the Eidim came towards the end of the day, they'd make that day Rosh Hashanah, not the next day. But there was a problem time with the Shir. They didn't come to that after Korban Tomash Ben Arbayim, and they didn't say the right Shir. What did they say? Machlokas in the Gemara, they said nothing, or they said the Shir shall hold. Because of that problem, they said that we're not going to accept the Eidim after Mincha, and tomorrow's automatically going to be Rosh Hashanah, but today is also, we continue doing Rosh Hashanah today, in order people shouldn't be mezalzel and think that the first day of Rosh Hashanah is a big possibility it's not going to be Rosh Hashanah. The Gemara brought down that the Talmud Shel Shachar of Rosh Hashanah does not have a special Shira, but the Musaf does, Haninu 81, and Talmud Shel Ben Arbayim is 29. Tough test.
Talmud Shel Ben Arbayim has also a shira for itself?
Every day you have the same share as the morning. Talmud Shel Shachar, Talmud Shel Ben Arbayim, whenever you say Yom Yom, Shlishi, Sheni B'Shabbos, you do that also in the morning, also Talmud Shel Ben Arbayim. On Rosh Hashanah, they made a special one, Talmud Shel Ben Arbayim, 29. And Musaf is 81. And the Gemara talks about also that if you know already in the morning that Thursday morning that is going to be Rosh Hashanah today, then you don't say the whole 81, you only do half of 81 and save it for the Musaf. But if you don't know, then you say the whole 80, or you say the whole 81 in the morning. And as far as Agamor, there was machlokes. If you don't know what to do in the afternoon, do you say no shir or do you say the shir shall fall?
Yeah, on Shabbos, there's a different share. It says Ozi share from Mincha.
We do what we do about the shir shal yom. We only do the one of the Talmud shal Shachar.
Right.
And Musaf is Azia shir.
No, most of it is Azinu.
Musaf is Azinu, and Mincha Talmud Shel Ben Arbayim is going to be Azia shir. Azia shir Michalocha. Azashi Yisrael, that the Gemara says later on. I think it's later on in Amasechta, I think. Or, yeah, I think it's
I think they're in Sukkah. I'm not sure. But anyway, but as far as Fadim say, on Fridays, Fadim say Hashem Molach for Mincha. And during the Chalamo, they say, but the Chalamo basis, they say Israel. Seem that Fadim have a Mincha to say the Shir Shal Yom for Mincha.
Not a clear connection. I don't hear. I didn't hear that.
Sfarim say Hashem Melech on Friday afternoon, which is Shir Shayom for Friday.
I don't think
and Halamo, they say Israel. Halamo Pesach says Israel, which is Shir Shayom for Pesach.
I don't think that they say Friday because of the Shir Shal Yom. I don't think so. I think there's different medrash why they say Hashem Malach. It goes together with Mizbeach Shal Yom HaShabbos. I think there's a different reason why they say it.
Okay.
Yes, everybody. Thank you. We'll be back in a minute or so.